One of the oldest known artistic mediums is painting, with the earliest known example of the art being approximately 44,000 years old, according to the December 2019 issue of Nature. With painting being so old, it is natural that there are innumerable styles for painting and just as many people who participated in it. One of such styles is model painting, frequently shortened to modeling. Hello, my name is Addison. I've been a modeler for close to 8 years now, and I'm fairly decent at it, and I've read and watched many a guide on how to model. First, today I shall be discussing why people discussing a little known hobby known as modeling and how to participate in said hobby. First, I'll discuss why people participate in the hobby. Then I shall discuss basics. Then I shall discuss more advanced techniques. Surprisingly enough, people participate in modeling because there's a lot of fun to be had with it and other things associated with it. For one, you could play certain tabletop games with it. My personal of these is Warhammer 40k, a game that is a very avid modeling community, mostly out of necessity. The game requires models to play, preferably of the producer's stock, but most models can be used as placeholders. Anything that can be fit on a 9mm base can be used for this purpose. The game is played by assigning weapons and armor to your models from the traditionally hefty rulebook, and then fighting other people's models using an excessive number of six-sided dice. Matches can last anywhere from 30 minutes to days, depending on how many models are at play, luck, and hilariously broken special rules. Beyond fighting them, modeling has many competitions that you can enter. According to Warhammer Community, the official site for all news regarding Games Workshop events, one of the largest and oldest competitions for modeling is Golden Demon. Golden Demon is an officially sponsored painting event where best modelers in the world come together to present their latest works according to Warhammer Community. Many categories that can be entered in this competition, ranging from the humble single model to the massive custom-made large models to the sprawling and complex diorama models. The best of the best win the Slayer sword, a 5-foot broadsword that must be picked up wearing chainmail gloves, and a trophy and a few other things. Finally, the first and foremost reason that people model is that the end product looks fairly cool. People often display their models when they're within their homes in special cases, and within those cases, people often set up dioramas because modeling is uniquely suited to dynamic storytelling, both in the other art form through dioramas. Be create You should be creative with your models. There's no real right way to model, so having fun putting them together in new and interesting ways is paramount. But for all that, we should look at how to get started with this hobby. The first thing that you should look for beyond a modeling kit is paint. According to Geek and Leisure in their April 2020 article, acrylic paint is ideal for modeling due to you being able to adjust the paint's viscosity without losing any of the pigmentation. Additionally, Geek and Leisure says that acrylic is also easy to clean and dries fairly quickly. Acrylic is also widely available coming in paint pots like this one, spray paint, and even in paint markers, but don't use those for modeling. Beyond paint, you should look into glue. The most common and useful is super glue. In my experience, super glue is a strong adhesive that will hold its bond in both situations. However, super glue emits noxious fumes and is near impossible to get off of surfaces without the use of acetone, which also produces noxious fumes. So you should have an expendable drop cloth and paint and glue in a well-ventilated area. Sometimes certain models have parts that are too heavy for super glue to hold. Therefore, I also recommend that you have a stronger, slower drying glue on hand as well, like a polyethylene. Beyond glue and paint, there are also several tools that will help you with your painting, such as clamps, which are useful for holding the aforementioned heavy parts in place while the slow drying glue dries. Pliers are also useful for maneuvering small parts into place or holding your models while they're wet to prevent them from smearing the paint. An empty shelf or case I also recommend, giving you a place to put your models while they dry and or put them on display there. Finally, we should go over some of the more advanced techniques for assembling your model and painting it. There are several brush techniques that will enable you unique effects on your model, such as dry brushing. Dry brushing is a technique where a very small amount of paint is placed on a totally dry paintbrush that is also worn. It gives a dusty effect to the strokes, dirtying the model in an artistic way. Next up is ink washing, a technique where acrylic paint, usually black, is watered down to a near water-like consistency, and then painted on the model. It's used to bring out the details of the model by adding a shadow-like effect to the various dips and divots on a model, like on this chain gun. One of the more interesting things you can do with a model is something called kit bashing. Kit bashing is a technique where you use some non-kit parts while you assemble your model. It allows you to make your model unique beyond just mere paint. You can essentially turn anything that you have on hand into a part of your model. Sometimes, especially with larger models, the parts of the model do not sit entirely flush with each other when you assemble the model, leaving gaps in it. While this can be fixed via kit bashing, the best thing to do in this situation is fill the gap in. First, you should get some filler material, like a small chunk of cardboard or something similar, small enough to fit in the gap. Next, fill the gap with your filler material and apply enough of your heavier glue to fill in the remaining area on the gap. Finally, clamp the part in place the best that you can, wipe up any of the running glue, and wait for the glue to dry, and that should fix the hole in your model. In conclusion, first I discussed why people participate in this hobby, then I discussed how to get started in the modeling, and finally I discussed some more advanced techniques. In conclusion, modeling is a fun, if relatively expensive hobby that I hope my words of today have piqued some interest in the audience. Goodbye.